Michael Jackson's talent was undeniable, but his legacy was clouded by controversy. What if none of it ever happened? Would he have surpassed the Beatles and become the greatest artist of all time?
That's one small step for man.
Since we know the story of Michael's early life, we'll pick it up in the 1980s, when Michael reached the peak of his success, and see where he goes from there. With Thriller, 1982, becoming the best-selling album of all time, Michael Jackson's influence over pop culture is absolute. Free from controversy, he capitalizes on his momentum by maintaining stronger relationships with industry titans like Quincy Jones and Steven Spielberg. His interest in filmmaking leads to a deeper collaboration with Hollywood, possibly starring in E.T. the Extraterrestrial, or developing his own Peter Pan adaptation. Musically, Jackson embraces the emerging electronic and synth-driven sounds of the 1980s, collaborating with artists like Prince, David Bowie, and even early hip-hop acts like Run DMC or Grandmaster Flash. With a reputation unmarred by scandal, he becomes an even bigger ambassador for humanitarian causes, working with figures like Nelson Mandela and Jimmy Carter. His tour revenue and endorsements with Pepsi, Nike, and Disney surpass any artist before him. With no media attacks, his public image remains pristine, and he successfully positions himself as a global unifier through his music and philanthropy. However, his relentless work ethic and perfectionism remain, leading to periods of exhaustion. Without personal scandals to shield himself from, industry pressures might still weigh on him, creating inner conflicts between his artistic vision and commercial expectation. While Michael enters the bad era with complete creative control, ensuring that it surpasses even Thriller in both sales and cultural impact. Without the 1993 allegations looming in the background, he begins planning an ambitious Thriller 2 album in the early 1990s, featuring a fully cinematic experience, perhaps a feature film directed by Spielberg or James Cameron, incorporating groundbreaking special effects. His humanitarian efforts take center stage, working closely with the United Nations and figures like Princess Diana to combat global poverty and AIDS awareness. Instead of spending the early 1990s battling accusations, he strengthens his influence in business, acquiring even more publishing catalogs, including those of Prince, Elton John, and the Rolling Stones. Musically, he adapts to the changing landscape by working with rising producers like Teddy Riley, Babyface, and even exploring collaborations with Nirvana and U2. The absence of controversy ensures that his Dangerous album, 1991, and subsequent projects are untainted by scandal, allowing them to receive uninterrupted critical and commercial acclaim. However, Michael's increasingly insular lifestyle, due to his extreme fame, could still cause some detachment from reality. While he is beloved worldwide, his desire to maintain his artistic integrity versus growing commercial expectations may create internal struggles. Instead of defending himself in court in 1993, Michael fully embraces his role as a music industry titan, expanding his reach into business and technology. He becomes an early investor in online music platforms, potentially working with companies like Apple to revolutionize music distribution before iTunes dominates the market. The History album, 1995, takes on a more celebratory and activist tone rather than a defensive one, with Michael using his platform to address world issues like apartheid, war, and environmental destruction. He cements himself as a modern-day Bob Marley, using pop music to push forward global change. Collaborations with Tupac Shakur, Lauryn Hill, and Madonna elevate his credibility across multiple genres. The late 1990s also see him expand into Las Vegas residencies, setting the stage for what Celine Dion and Britney Spears would later perfect. However, as music shifts towards hip-hop dominance, Jackson faces increasing pressure to remain relevant. Without media scandals to fuel his persona, some critics begin questioning whether his mystique is fading in an era dominated by more outspoken and aggressive artists like Eminem and Jay-Z. In the new millennium, Michael Jackson embraces his role as an elder statesman of music. His Invincible 2001 album received stronger support from Sony without internal feuds, making it one of the biggest releases of the decade. He pioneers streaming by launching his own digital music platform years before Spotify takes over. Instead of a This Is It tour in 2009, he establishes the Michael Jackson Experience, a massive residency in Las Vegas that incorporates holograms, augmented reality, and immersive storytelling. His ability to stay ahead of the curve cements him as the Walt Disney of music entertainment. However, with age comes health concerns. The decades of intense performances and perfectionism lead to physical wear and tear, requiring him to adapt his stage shows. His private life remains a mystery as he balances his role as a father with his business empire. Without legal and financial battles consuming his time, he remains one of the wealthiest musicians in history, potentially rivaling figures like Jeff Bezos in entertainment-driven wealth. By the 2010s, Michael transitions into the role of mentor and philanthropist, guiding the next generation of artists like Beyoncé, The Weeknd, and Billie Eilish. His brand extends into film, virtual reality, and even artificial intelligence, creating digital concerts that allow fans to interact with his likeness. Instead of passing away in 2009, he continues to push boundaries with new artistic projects, including Broadway musicals, VR experiences, and collaborations with major tech companies. The Thriller musical becomes a Broadway staple, and a biopic on his life, executive produced by him, dominates award shows. However, even in this ideal timeline, challenges exist. Physical decline. The decades of dancing take a toll, forcing him to adapt his performances. Industry changes. The rise of social media changes how artists connect with fans, and his traditional approach to fame must evolve. The pressure of perfection, his internal struggles with meeting expectations, could still weigh heavily on him, even without controversy. Nonetheless, Michael Jackson remains the single most influential artist in history, a true mogul whose impact extends beyond music into business, technology, and global humanitarianism. Even without scandals, Michael Jackson's life wouldn't be perfect. He would still face challenges with health, artistic pressures, and shifting industry trends. His obsessive perfectionism and desire for control might have led to occasional clashes with collaborators and business partners. However, without the media, assassinations, and legal battles, he would have had full autonomy over his career. Instead of being remembered with a tragic arc, he would be viewed as a musical visionary and business innovator, comparable to figures like Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, and David Bowie. Would he still be alive today? Perhaps. Would he have remained at the top of the industry? No. Every legend eventually sees new artists rise. But would he have cemented an even greater legacy? Absolutely. In this timeline, Michael Jackson isn't just the king of pop. He's the most powerful figure in entertainment history. What if history had taken a different path? No scandals, no controversies, just pure artistry, innovation, and an empire beyond imagination. His impact would still be unstoppable. Subscribe for more alternate realities. This is Reelz, where history gets a remix.